Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. We are in season 19, if you didn't know. We're 2 episodes in to season 19. If you haven't listened to episode 1, which was back in May 13th, I give you all of the rundown of all of the new stuff that is coming for Onyx Queen Media. New things coming with the podcast, just the business in general, and where we are, and all the things that are coming down the pike very soon. And I'm realizing just how fast things are coming, and not realizing that we got to get a little bit more prepared. So we're definitely doing that. That's why we kind of took a couple of breaks in between. And then our last episode, I do reflections on Memorial Day and the origins of Memorial Day, and also the 100th anniversary of the Greenwood race massacre, which of course the Greenwood section of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where also known as Black Wall Street. So I give my thoughts on that. So definitely go back and tune into those first 2 podcasts of season 19, episode 1 and 2, and then also all of my other ones too. And when you go to my podcast, make sure you search for different subject matters. If you search on business, or you search entrepreneur, or you search, any keyword that it is that you can think of, you're probably going to find that I've done a podcast on it. I try to cover a wide range of topics of things that I have experience with, and the things that I don't have experience with, I usually have someone, to come on and speak about it. I do a little segment called Elevation Entrepreneur, and that allows me to bring in an expert on subjects that I am not privy to. So I've had financial experts come on. I have had a lawyer come on and talk about copywriting and trademarking and all that sort of stuff. So definitely go back through my podcast and look for those podcast sessions that, you resonate with. And I love when people tell me like, oh, I went back and re-listened to this, or, I saved it, I downloaded on my phone or my tablet. Like, I love hearing that, because it lets me know that people are really tuning in. And it lets me know that, what people want to hear as well, because I actually do look at my analytics on the back end. Apple Podcast has now come up with this great back end, so I can look at the analytics. I can also look at some analytics in Spotify, and also a couple other platforms for which, where you can hear my podcast. So I look at those analytics, and I look to see what podcast episodes do the best, the ones that are the strongest. And I find that when I bring more subject matter to particular areas, genres, however you want to say it, it gets a reaction. So definitely, when you're listening to podcasts, if you want to comment and let me know things that you want to hear, I'm still taking questions for things. But one of the things that I actually had a conversation with a colleague of mine earlier this week, actually, and I've been seeing this go around with some other videos, so I kind of wanted to put my take on it. And that is, how do you get past self-sabotage? Now, this doesn't just have to do with business. This could just be in your life. And first of all, self-sabotage can be coming from a lot of places. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but coming from the space of business, that's probably where I can speak to the best. But also mental health may be an issue with this as well. So to the folks who are being treated professionally for mental health disparities, or whatever it is that you're going through, whether it may be depression, anxiety, bipolar, any of those things, please follow your doctor's orders with these things, okay? The disclaimer, again, I am not a therapist. I am not a licensed psychologist in any way, shape, or form. I only share my personal experiences in hopes that it will help somebody else and that thing resonates with you. But if there's something that you hear on this podcast and you want to take it back to your professional psychologist, psychiatrist, doctor, whatever it is, certainly do so. Okay, so if you're being professionally treated for any type of mental health issues, please consult with your mental health professional. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. Okay, yes, I have definitely dealt with self-sabotage within my own self, personally and professionally. I'm going to kind of look at it from the professional side, and then I may touch a little bit on the personal side. But from the professional side, a lot of it comes from the fear of success. Some of it comes from the fear of failing. So it's just easier not to try because you can't fail if you don't try. That's the logic sometimes that we tell ourselves in our head. Well, if I don't try, I can't fail. So let's just say, stay in that safe zone. I'm definitely more of a risk taker when it comes to business stuff. I definitely go out on the limb. I no longer am the person that has to know that I'm making XYZ dollars on such and such day. Anybody who lives an entrepreneur life knows that money goes up and down all the time. You may have retainer clients, but you do have those projects, those one-off projects that come and go. So money is always different. It's not the 9-to-5 paycheck any longer. But I'll tell you one thing, it's great when you get a nice contract, whether it's a 6-month contract, a year contract, whatever it is. It's really nice to know that money is already secured. So that definitely is probably, will lessen the anxiety levels when it comes to being an entrepreneur. But yeah, a lot of self-sabotage comes from the fear of success and the fear of failing. It's two extremes, but it really can affect you seriously if you don't take the time out to lay out your plans and reason through each of those steps and know that, yes, you can be all the things. You can do all the things. You just can't do it all at one time. Because sometimes when you try to do too many things at one time, self-sabotage creeps in because it's like, okay, I need an excuse and a reason not to go in this direction. So let me just kind of, let something fall by the wayside. You don't attack a plan of action up front to get cracking and to get going. And that is a form of self-sabotage, keeping negative people around you when you know they don't do you any good. Another form of self-sabotage, speak life, not only into other people, speak life into yourself. Self is so important. Knowledge of self is important. Self affirmations, speak affirmations, speak life into your own self. Just like how you would speak life into your significant other, you speak life into your children, speak life into yourself while you're brushing your teeth in the mirror. Yeah, it may look a little crazy, but you know what? Speak life into yourself. Put little sticky notes. I always see a lot of YouTubers do this sometimes. They have sticky notes around their house to remind them of things. affirmations of things. Put them on the mirror in your bathroom. That is probably the first thing that you're going to see in the morning. Put an affirmation on the screen of your phone, because we all know we roll over in the bed in the morning. The first thing we do is pick up our phone and start scrolling through Instagram or social, any of our other social medias. Put a sticky note right there on top of it before you go to bed, so that when you pick up your phone, that's the first thing you see. And you might change your mind about scrolling through social media. Don't ingest social media so early. I learned this tip, and I want to say I learned it from Damon John. And if you guys watch Shark Tank, he's the people's shark, right? I learned a tip, and I believe it came from him, where he doesn't ingest email as soon as he gets up. He doesn't start answering email. He doesn't start giving out to the world until a certain time of the morning. And I used to get up at whatever time I get up. I usually try to get up between 5:30 and 6 a.m. And I would be on my email feverishly already. So now I am serving everybody else, and I haven't even served myself. And then better yet, I haven't even served God yet. I haven't even said a prayer yet. I haven't said anything. Thank you, Lord, for waking me up, for opening my eyes on yet another day. I haven't even done any of that. I literally just leaned over, grabbed my phone, nuzzled all up in the covers, scrolling through. And it's like, what am I doing? So when he said that, I thought, wow. So I make it a practice now. I don't start looking at emails until actually 9 a.m. Eastern time, which is the beginning of the business day. I get out, or I do all of the other stuff that I need to do for my business all before 9 a.m. Any things that I have to send out, but I don't ingest. So if there's emails that I need to answer, I don't answer any of them until a little bit after 9 a.m. But if I need to send stuff out, I send stuff out. If there's little things that I need to get out, I do that stuff. And then I start ingesting, okay, what emails do I have in my inbox? What things do I need to take care of for other people? Because when it all comes down to it, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So take care of yourself first. And this goes for mothers, fathers. People think, oh, my children come first. You can't pour from an empty cup. Any therapist will tell you this. And this is coming from my therapist. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to serve yourself first. Okay, as far as this life is concerned, of course, we want to serve God first, but serve yourself after God, yourself, and then others, because you cannot give from an empty space. You just can't. That's how burnout starts, when you're serving everybody else before taking care of you. Before doing all that self-care. That's like a big word thrown around all the time. Self-care. But people don't really take time out to take care of themselves. So by the time you start giving out to everybody else, then comes in these thoughts of self-sabotage. Now you don't have enough for you. So now I start making excuses about why I can't do this and why I can't do that. And what's that? Self-sabotage. And it happens all the time. I had to harass my sister the other day, and I know she might listen to this, but I don't care. She'll hear it. I had to harass her the other day. I said, listen, we're going to square up in 2021. This is exactly what I said to her. We are going to square up in 2021 if you don't get this YouTube channel cracking. And that's exactly the voicemail that I left her in her DMs on Instagram. And everybody knows I'm not a big DM person at all. I said, we gonna square up. And it was said in jest, but at the same time, low-key serious as well, because I think her personality is just phenomenal. And I think that her creative mind is so what social media needs today, and what I see some of these influencers doing. And I think that she's even so much better than them, not just because she's my sister, because when I look at her content, I don't look at it as she's my sister. I look at it like, oh, influencer, foodie, pet lover, all that sort of stuff. And I just think she's a genius at what she does. And this is coming from a brand manager when I deal with brands every day. And she has that it factor, So I did leave her that message earlier this week, and she kind of laughed about it, and she was like, no, she's like, I'm working on it. The channel is there. I'm working on what I'm going to do. But again, sometimes we doubt ourselves, and we doubt our talent, and we doubt our capabilities, and that is a form of self-sabotage. It really is. We often don't see the beauty in what it is that we have to offer the world, so we make up excuses, and that's where that self-sabotage can creep in. So I really want to push folks to keep the negative people from around you. Think about it this way. And I don't know who said this, but people will let me know if you know who said this, but I once heard that you are most like the 5 people that you hang around all the time. So think about your inner circle. Those 5 or whatever, 6 people that you hang around all the time. And think, are they negative? Now, it's very tough because maybe that one negative person could be your spouse, your significant other, whatever. It could be your child, whatever. It could be your brother, your sister, your twin, whatever. May not be the most encouraging person, may not say the things that you need to hear to keep you motivated. And what can you really do about that, because you may live with that person? Well, in a situation such as that, there's also people that you can talk to about your dreams. And sometimes you can't share your dreams with everyone. Sometimes you can't share your aspirations with everyone. Because quite frankly, not everybody is built to go on that ride with you. There are some people that are here for this season, and then there are some people who are going to be there for you in your next season. So I know that you may live with the negative person. You may live with the person who doesn't believe that you can own your own business and do whatever, or get that promotion on your job, or is just very discouraging whenever you have a new idea. Be careful who you share your dreams with. And maybe that's just conversations you can't have with that individual. It doesn't mean that you don't love them. It doesn't mean you love them any less, but there's certain conversations that you may not have with that individual. There's certain people that I just can't have certain conversations with, and that's okay, because not everybody is going to understand your dream, your accomplishments, your vision. It was given to you. It wasn't given to everybody else. So just be careful with who you share your innermost, future accomplishments with, or dreams with. Don't share your dreams with dream killers. Use that negativity as motivation to keep you going. Like, I'm going to prove that I can do this, not just for them, but to yourself. God just gives everybody amazing talent. Sometimes it takes us time to tap in to figure what it is. And I think there's so many people out there who don't believe they have any talent, and everybody has a talent. Everybody has something that they're good at. Everyone has something that God has given to them. But sometimes it takes some of us a little bit longer to figure out. And that's okay. But once you figure it out, keep going. The route may change, but the goal stays the same. So if you have a goal to complete whatever it is you want to do, it could be reaching another rung on the corporate ladder. It could be finishing that degree that you got to go back to school. It could be, opening that business that you want to open. Stick to your goal. But know that the route may change. Instead of self-sabotaging, oh, I can't do it because of this. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, look at this roadblock. All of those things are forms of self-sabotage. So know that you can pivot and you can shift. But the road ahead, that goal at the end, is always the same. Whatever that accomplishment is the same. But be flexible with the road. Be flexible with the avenue that you take. Might not be Avenue A, maybe Avenue C, It may not be accessible by plane. You may be walking. You may be going by train. So the route to get there, or the route to get there, however you say it, may be It may change, may be different each time, but your goal, keep your eyes on the prize, as they say, right? Keep your eyes on the prize, and then just be able to pivot and shift to reach that goal. Don't allow the pivot to allow you to put yourself into self-sabotage or self-doubt. That imposter syndrome. Why am I here? I don't deserve to be here. Of course you deserve to be here. You worked hard. You earned it to get to where you are. You deserve to be there. All right? So keep the negative people out. Tell yourself those affirmations every day. Speak life into yourself. That's a great way to avoid self-sabotage. Keep the conversation going. You can find me on all socials at Onyx, Onyx, Queen Queen Media, at Onyx Queen Media on all socials. I will talk to you soon, you guys. Have a very productive rest of your week. Bye.